I'm going to start a weekly outlook on the market I'm looking at, kind of looking at the pairs and what else I'm seeing for the week. Just going to wait 30 seconds or more, and then we will begin. Okay. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's start with dollar index. Okay, so I think beginning of July, I'm looking at a dollar index weakness. Okay, do expect um, price to make another push down. Okay, at least to the double bottom area, the most recent kind of lows. So let me see how you can see that this is a clear impulse. This is a correction, and then I'm looking for this next impulse at least to the lows of here. Okay. So I do see price reach that area now, right? So if we go back to the current price action, this is key this week to see if we're going to get this double bottom right here. Very keen to see what price will do this point because this will give me a bias on what the dollar will do. Excuse me. We go on down to the lower time frame. We do see prices still in this overall kind of channel structure. Okay, so I want to see what price will do kind of this next 24, 48 hours. Is it going to have some bullish momentum to break out the structure and then continuation? And I'll be looking for a buy in dollar index, so which means I'll be looking for pretty much strength in all the dollar pairs, which I'll go over a couple ones I'm looking at as well. Okay, so I definitely want to see a breakout from the structure and then a continuation. Okay, so that will give me enough confluence for a buy to the top of this area. So this may take at least a week or so, right? So expect to see the price action in this area here, see what the price will do, okay? That will give me confluence to take a look into the other dollar pairs, okay? So let me look at Aussie dollar really quick. So Aussie dollar, I'm still seeing this as a bearish move, right? So we see the bearish impulse and then we see a correction. I'm looking for the next impulse, okay? If we zoom down to the lower time frame, lower time frame wise, price is in this kind of channel structure once more. Could expect price to continue correct itself for this upcoming Asia session or so. Okay, I'm assuming until London session we'll probably get a bigger move. Okay, so do expect price to be a little bit corrective here, at least to the London or New York session. See if price will continue break up and then forming this recent double top. Okay, pretty much completing this structure here. And then I will be looking for a sell from up top, right? Alternatively, if we see a breakout from the structure, then look for the short-term sell as well. And then I do expect price to break out. If it breaks out impulsively, then look for another trade down to the lows here. Okay, so that's Aussie dollar going to Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar last week when we see that sharp move down, I was looking for some sort of correctional here. Okay, instead price made a steeper pullback, a steeper kind of sending channel formation. We had another breakdown. Now we're looking for another correction here. Okay, so we expect again, just like Aussie dollar, is price going to consolidate here a little bit longer throughout this Asian session, going to London or New York session, and then we'll see another short some here, so sell from here. Okay, that is what I'm looking at for Kiwi dollar. Moving on to Euro dollar. Euro dollar, last week again, I'm mentioning about this kind of a rising wedge or sending channel formation. We did price breakdown, pullback, and then another breakdown. I was looking for a sell entry right here, but we didn't see a breakout from the structure. Price quickly went up. Now I'm seeing this as a potential structure in the making. Still want to see a little bit more development here. And are we going to see a breakout continuation? Down to here to completing this channel structure and possibly down to low here because on the higher time frame wise, still seeing this as a pretty corrective structure in the making. Okay. So do you want to see a completion of the structure? Do you want to see this potential sell setup as well? Okay, so that's a pretty good risk reward trade. So don't miss that, right? But for now, it's not ready. We want to see a little bit more development. Okay. Moving on to dollar peso. Dollar peso, same idea, right? Short-term dollar weak strength. Seeing this as overall the impulse correction, and then looking for the next impulse, right? But in terms of short-term wise, definitely see a potential strength in dollar. So I do expect price to get pushed back up out of this kind of a correctional structure. We do see an impulse from that as well. So could expect price to break up and then continue upward, hitting the top of this structure before the higher time frame kind of the sell bias I have, okay, on the dollar peso. Okay, so this will probably take this week or next week or so. So do keep an eye on this as well. Dollar ruble, same idea. We do see a price move down like this, and then we see a correctional structure. Do expect price again to get pushed back up, completely in this structure alone before the next sell opportunity. Okay, so you can see that most of my buyers is going to work with dollar strength here. Okay, and so I do like to see more strength from dollar coming in. At least that will go with my bias on the dollar strength for short term, and then long term wise, most of them are still looking bearish. Okay. Yeah, I will go over some stocks later. Okay, so give me a few minutes to go over a few currency pair first, if you don't mind. Going to dollar Singapore dollar. Same idea, right? You're seeing the same price action over and over again. Impulse correction, strong impulse down. Expect this correction to complete, and then before the next sell impulse. Okay, so do expect uh, price is in this kind of a structure right here on dollar Singapore dollar. I do like to see a breakout from this structure. This will be ideal for me. And then look for the first kind of lower time frame continuation, right? This will be a pretty decent buy. Up here, completing this larger structure coming from this impulse, and then look for the next down move. Okay. Okay, moving on to Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD, if I go on to the higher time frame, potential a double top right here I'm seeing. This is also where price had an impulse move, had a correction, but failed to have an impulsive move. Okay, instead it's a corrective kind of structure developed. Let me show you that in the intraday charts. If we zoom in a little bit, this was the impulse, this was the correction, and then instead of an impulsive move, we don't get that. Instead, we get a more of a correctional kind of channel structure. So I like that kind of price action. That kind of showed me that the buy or the bull momentum is exhausted. We do have this kind of short term, lower time frame impulse, and then we're forming this correction right here. Okay, so I do like this kind of price action. Do like to see a breakout confirming the bearish move is coming, and then lower time frame correction to sell. Okay, to potentially look to the sell to the bottom of the structure here. Okay, moving on to Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi, if we zoom out a little bit, you guys know that from early, I guess, early June, I've been looking for sell, right? This is the double top on the higher time frame. I mentioned it's going to be an impulse here. It's going to be a larger correction in here, and then look for another sell opportunity, right? And now price is potentially in the structure now. Excuse me, potentially in the structure now. So wait for this development to happen. Okay, so I do expect price is going to have some reversal, some sort of bearish move down here. Okay, and then once it's in this general area, uh, reanalyze to see if price is going to get another push back up before the sell, or is it going to sell back from here, at least to this low. Okay, so that's Aussie Kiwi. If I zoom out a bit, that will be a little bit more clear. So this is still the move, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, waiting for this correction to complete, and then waiting for the next impulse. Okay, that's Aussie, Kiwi. Moving on to a couple yen pairs. So CAD yen, structurally still looks the same to me. I'm still looking for sell here, okay? Still looking for this as an impulse, still looking this as a correction, and still looking for the next impulse. And the lower time frame, seeing structures and structures repeating itself. I do like this impulse down. I do like this kind of a larger correction. Price is in the middle of this correction now. So do be patient here to see if price is going to correctly move up and be looking for a sell here, or is it going to break out of the structure right away now and then look for a continuation, right? Looking for a continuation here and look for a sell breakout of this higher time frame. Euro yen, same idea. Nothing changes on the structure, okay? We zoom out a little bit. This is still the impulse. This is the correction. Oops, sorry. This is the impulse. This is the correction. I'm looking for the next impulse, right? Structurally is there. Whether or not price is going to be ready is another story, right? I think there's people asking me about price is correcting. Yes, price is correcting, but is the higher time frame structure and price action still valid? Yes, it is, right? Price is in this correction now. Yes, right? Price is still at within this larger structure that we have on the daily, right? So I'm still looking for a sell, right? Even if price breaks out here, right? Even if it breaks up higher, but if we really see some sort of reversal price action here, we see a price breakdown and then still a continuation, this short still valid and this structure is valid. Okay, just made a video earlier this week, earlier today about structure, how it doesn't matter if it breaks above or not touch the line. The lines are just for visualization, right? Structurally is there. Okay, so moving on to pound yen. Pound yen, we're seeing these kind of structure over structure once more, right? It's moving down very correctively, but it's still looking very bearish to me. So at an impulse, correction, impulse, and then we're in this larger correction now, right? So again, currently in just kind of middle of the correction. So either look for a corrective way up and sell from here, or look for a breakdown here and then look for a entry here, right? Ultimately, if you zoom out, this is still the impulse. This is the correction. We're still looking for the next impulse. Okay. Moving to EuroCAD. EuroCAD is one of my preferred setup. I do like the EuroCAD price action. So let me kind of zoom in there to show you. So if we zoom out here, first we take a look at the higher time frame. What I like about it is the double top here, and then potentially a triple top right now in the making. Okay, so I like that. I like the price is in this kind of a channel structure. It's also hitting that top as well. So it's kind of just adding extra confluence for a potential bearish move. Going to the 1 hour chart, we do see price had an impulse down and correctly move up once more to form this ascending channel structure. Reason double top, long-term triple top. So very good for a potential sell. Looking for this, right? Looking for a breakout, looking for a continuation here, and then look for the sell down. Okay, will be a pretty good trade if we get a pretty nice sell from this, at least to the lows of this channel. And then we can see what happens when the price will do. Is it going to form continuation? And then we can continue sell. Or is it going to be bullish, moving up to here, hitting this top of the structure, still making this structure valid, still looking for a sell from there. Okay, and that is how I look at multi-time frame analysis and price action structures. Okay, moving on to Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD last week, I was already looking for a sell, right? We see this kind of head and shoulder pattern in the making, and we see this right shoulder complete. We do see an impulse. Price did still correctly move back up, but it is still a ascending channel structure. So I'm still very keen on what the price will do. Is it going to have another breakout and it's going to move correctively, right? Kiwi pairs, sometimes they're just corrective, right? So it might be very corrective, but gradually move down, right? Still looking for this move, excuse me. Still looking for this move to complete. Okay, so moving on to pound Aussie. Pound Aussie, we know on a higher time frame, we're still in this potentially a larger kind of correction, okay, result from this strong impulse here, right? It's not going to just fall in a straight line. It's need to correct itself, right? Form some sort of continuation correction before more sell move can happen, okay? So looking at price action, the reason price action, I do like how we had this descending kind of channel, very similar like here, right? Price action tends to repeat itself. Do like this reason double bottom as well. I do want to see a price impulsively break up and then form a little continuation correction on a lower time frame, and do expect this buy opportunity from here, right? Up to this reason top here, and then we'll see if price is going to drop here, and then this could be all the correction it is from that daily kind of strong impulse, or is it going to bounce back up again and then forming kind of a triple top and then completing a larger continuation structure for this daily run, and then we're going down again. Okay, so that's pound Aussie. Moving on to pound Kiwi, very similar kind of price action. We're seeing that price is impulsively moved down in this correctional kind of a falling wedge pattern, very good reversal, and we're seeing this inverse head and shoulder pattern, right? This is that right shoulder that's in the making, and we're waiting for a breakout of the structure, lower time frame continuation, and look for this buy up to this recent top, right? If we zoom on to the daily, you understand that this is that same impulse, then you need a larger correction to form before the next impulse can happen, right? It's not going to fall in a straight line. Right? Remember that. So remember that price needs to correct itself, right? So short-term wise, still looking for this buy, still very good risk reward, still lots of room to the upside, and then potentially look for a reversal here for the short. Okay. Moving on to sugar. Sugar last week, and we've been looking at kind of a buy opportunity. I mentioned last week, wait for price to see what will happen in this area alone. Price never retraced all the way back here, but it did form a double bottom. Okay, and then get pushed up. And looking at the lower time frame, I will be looking for some sort of continuation correction structure, which is already in the making, right? Which is very good. So if it break out from here, I will look for a buy here, even though it's still in this larger structure. I think the buy is very valid. Once it breaks out there and then for another continuation, I'd likely to add into more buy. I do think this buy has lots of potential, lots of room to the upside from this COVID crash from earlier of the year. Okay, I do expect price to continue move upwards, correctively, but still looking at some sort of reason top as a potential target for this move. Okay, I do like overall structure. This is a very strong impulse, and this is a larger continuation correction, and we're looking for the next impulse. Okay. Excuse me. So moving on to a few indices, looking at Nasdaq and S&P. At Nasdaq, last week I was looking for a short already. I do see this strong impulse. You see this kind of correctional structure in the making. Do like to see a continuation, right? Short-term kind of bearish move, hitting the bottom of the structure, and then reevaluate once it hit the structure. See if there's more momentum in this area. If there's more correction in the making, look for another sell. S&P 500, same idea. Structurally doesn't change. I was looking for a short here. Did not have a good entry there. However, price did break up again, forming this recent double top. You can classify this as a triple top now. And then price did have a lower time frame drop and then continuation, right? So look for a continuation like this because structurally this is still valid. I still see this as a strong impulse. This is a correction, and we're waiting for the next move, right? So this completes this overall structure as well, right? Coming from this move along, and if we zoom out, right? We have this strong move, kind of a recover from COVID, right? Price needs to correct, right? I'm looking for this down move from here before the next up move, right? It's making this the overall larger continuation correction. Okay, so that's kind of how I see S&P 500. One more index is the Hong Kong index. Do you see these kind of short-term kind of sell that's happening, right? If I zoom out to the daily, we do see a potential retrace back into this kind of pattern or structure. On the 4-hour chart, we have this double top, and price has been very moving down correctively, but it is still mostly impulse correction on the lower time frame, right? So I do expect this to continue lower, perhaps to hit the lowers of the structure, right? Still have some room to go. Okay, so that's the Hong Kong index. Going down to a couple equity. So there's a few stocks I'm looking at. Okay, looking at Boeing here. I think it was last week. Someone messaged me about there was a breakout here, and then can they buy, right? And I told them look for continuation, right? Originally I had the structure drew like this, and then we had a buy. I mean a breakout, and then I said, hey, don't look for a buy right away. Look for a continuation because price can still drop down, right? So always look for confirmation, right? Just because it breaks out some trend line doesn't mean it's still going to go up, right? Look for confirmation. So right now I'm seeing prices still trickling down, right? See what will happen if we get another bounce up here, or is it going to bounce up right away, and look for that continuation correction before the buy, okay? Looking at Johnson Johnson as well. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I'm mentioning a breakout from this channel structure. Again, look for continuation, right? It broke out of the structure, great, right? That gives you extra confluence in the buy, but you need to be careful, right? Look for a continuation. Right now, it just broke out. Uh, it can happen, it can still form a correction, or it can still drop down here, right? So look for this continuation, right? Some sort of development on the structure, and look for a buy. Looking to Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola again, when price was forming the structure, I said, yeah, look for a buy out of this, look for a buy to the top of the structure, right? So we do see price is in that bullish kind of move already, which is good. So going down to the 1 hour, potentially is making kind of another potential flag kind of continuation, right? So if price come down once more, still look for that buy, right? This should be a pretty good buy to the recent top, okay, in this next coming week or so. I do expect price to have this move up. How long this correction will take, I'm not sure, but I do see this as pretty bullish move as well. Okay, so that's on Coca-Cola, and last one is Mastercard. So Mastercard on higher time frame, right? I was looking at this buy right here. Wait for this correction to finish. Okay, for a breakout of that correction, look for continuation, right? Even if price is kind of in the middle of this trend line, that's irrelevant, right? If it develops some sort of correction here, okay, making this a correctional structure, making this a recent double bottom impulse correction, still a buy, okay? So that is how I see on structure and channels and stuff like that. I do see this is a potential buy opportunity if there is a continuation structure on the lower time frame. Okay, so that's MasterCard. So that pretty much concludes all the pairs I'm looking at. There's one more, I think, on crypto that I'm looking at. I think it's Tron. Yep. So looking at Tron, on the higher time frame, if we zoom out, I do like that price is in this overall kind of channel structure, okay? And it is very corrective structure. We do see the sharp impulse, right? So I do like the continuation. I do like this kind of a ascending channel. I do see the price drop down. It is currently forming a continuation as well. So do expect price to break out of here. And if it does, we can expect a continuation here as well, and be selling it to the lows. Okay, if you zoom on the higher time frame, That is just what it has been doing for the past while, right? We had a sharp impulse, we had a correction, impulse, correction. We had another sharp impulse. Now this is in the channel structure, kind of a correction. I'm looking for the next move down. Okay, so that is all the kind of the pairs I'm looking at for this week coming up. Okay, I will make another daily update tomorrow around the same time regarding seeing the market has moved 24 hours later, see any potential setup in the next coming days. Okay, so feel free to tune in for that as well. And I will chat with you guys tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much and have a nice day. Okay.